What's going on, everybody? You are watching the Link LatinX. It is Tuesday, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. I am your favorite prevention training specialist over at Swab and Chill, your boy, Daniel J. And I am joined with these three fabulous men. Introduce yourselves. Let's start with Nigel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nigel, your prevention training specialist for Project Impact.
Yes, come on.
Is that it?
Oh, Carlos, I think that you are muted, boo-boo. Let's unmute you. And let's try this again.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? My name is Carlos. I'm the Senior Training Prevention Specialist for Outreach here at APLA.
Awesome sauce.
Hi, I'm Ruben. I'm the Disease Intervention Specialist here at APLA at Baldwin Hills location.
Honey, and we are the men of the Link LatinX, okay, giving you all of the things. Roger is not with us this week. He is on vacay, so we give him lots of love and kisses and hugs and wonderfulness for his beautiful vacation, child, because I wish I needed to be on one. But you are watching the Link LatinX, which is a collaboration between APLA Health and Pyro Media. And of course, it is paid for by the wonderful CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Honey, because without the checks, we wouldn't get paid, and we damn sure wouldn't be sitting in front of you to have this conversation. So let's get into it. We're going to jump into our Gatal segment. Carlos, I am going to ask you, just unmute your mic. Let the control room control the mutingness of things. That way we don't have any issues. What is going on in the world today? Nigel, I know you have some things in regards to COVID. Get out. What's happening? What's up?
Yeah, so as of yesterday, for LA City proper, most venues or any public areas that are indoors will require you to be fully vaccinated to enter. So as of yesterday, November 8th, 2021, you will be required to show full proof of COVID-19 vaccination to enter any indoor restaurants, malls, theaters, salons, coffee shops, gyms, museums, performance venues, and other spaces. So
like fully vaccinated, like you can't have just the one shot?
The verbiage is fully vaccinated. So if you want the one shot, you can do the Johnson Johnson.
Well, damn! I mean, what about the people that just got their first dosage?
And you're going to have to wait 6 weeks.
Oh my God, and this is for all locations or just, just select locations?
Yeah, so this is for LA City proper. So this isn't the full county, but like any locales in the city of Los Angeles will require this. There are some exemptions, of course, for medical reasons.
So basically, all the gays going to WeHo, y'all need to be fully vaccinated.
Yeah, if you're trying to go inside the club, yes. If you're trying to stand outside, I guess not.
Happened yesterday.
I mean, low-key, you can stand outside of the chapel and still get your groove on. You know what I'm saying? And you can still pick up a number or two or three or four or five.
Yeah, so wherever you go now, you either have to carry your vaccination card, or you can also show a picture of the front and back of your vaccination card as well. You know, the iPhones have those lovely scan features, or you can also go to, I forgot what the website is, but you can actually get a QR code of your vaccination record that they can scan as well and have all your information. So those three modes of showing your COVID vaccine will work for entering any public spaces.
Yeah, come on, Carlos. Carlos said, "Look, I got it right here.
I got my QR code."
Wait a minute. Don't show too much information. We don't need to. We know that you got it, boo. So what do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about these particular restrictions? Are we happy with these restrictions? Ruben said, absolutely.
And it's great because I was reading too that they really don't want to put any pressure on businesses, so they won't be fining anyone right now while they're like getting their bearings about it. But they will be sending out verbal warnings for this first month, and then after that, if you're not complying, then there'll be some fines. So, but they don't want to like put any additional pressure on businesses because it's been a really rough year for the economy and a lot of small businesses in LA. So,
Okay, I'm getting messages from our control room. Nigel sounds a little muffled, so you're gonna have to up the volume just a little bit. Don't you love live TV? This is what happens when it's live. You get the messages, you gotta tell the people we don't have producers in their ears, so we just got to do it live. You got to roll with us. Yeah. I personally think that it is what it is at this particular point. I feel like we've been in this pandemic for almost 2 years, going on 3 years. And, I think that it's interesting to see how people still aren't realizing that this is the new normal. Like, I think there are a lot of people thinking and wishing and hoping that things are just going to go all the way back to what it was pre-pandemic. And that's just not the way that it is. I don't think that it's ever going to be like it was pre-pandemic. Will we get close? Possibly, but we just don't know. So I mean, I'm all for it. You know, I have mine. I do think it sucks in regards to those who have chosen not to get the vaccine, because I do believe that getting the vaccine should be a choice. I do not believe in mandating a vaccine or mandating anybody to, you know, put something in their body that they don't want in there. But I do think that there's going to be a little bit of pushback for people who have chosen not to get the vaccine, who are not going to be allowed into these places, because it's basically, you know, government saying either you get the vaccine or you basically just be a leper out somewhere, you know, in the Oscars. So I mean, I wish that there were other options.
Well,
but
you know, you can have your moment at a cute little outdoor restaurant. You know, that's the thing.
you can,
Outdoor seating, you can do that. You just can't go inside.
because I feel like if you're not vaccinated, and this has always been my biggest thing, if you're not vaccinated, I just want you to follow the things that we were following prior to the vaccinations coming out. You know, being socially distant, wearing your mask, sanitizing, and those types of things. Because even with the vaccine, we still have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, for the people who don't want to get vaxxed and don't want to wear a mask and don't want to sanitize and want to be all up on your back, now that's a problem for me. But I do feel like there should be some, I don't know, some leeway for people who can still follow safety measures in regards to wearing a mask and social distancing, who decided not to get the vaccine. I think there should be some leeway there. What about you, Carlos? What do you think?
I think when it comes to people who don't want to get the vaccine, there's always other ways that for them to go into like certain places. But as mentioned before, when it comes to this mandate of like showing your vaccination card for both and everything like that, I know it was a couple of weeks ago, I went to Vegas and we went to an event and they showed like, they asked like, you have to have proof of vaccination. And if you don't have proof of vaccination, you have to show at least 24 hours worth of a COVID negative test whatsoever when it comes to your results. So it's kind of scary out there, and especially when it comes, I even heard in a podcast that when it comes to like San Francisco, and In-N-Out was closed because they are not going with the mandate of like, you know, vaccination is as mandated. So they closed the whole In-N-Out from what I was able to see up in San Francisco. Here in Long Beach whatsoever, I know some of the bars here don't let you in unless you have a COVID card with you, or that's why I have my QR code with me on hand. They even told me like you could just go on the CDC website and you could just get your QR code, you could get your whole like vaccination card. So it's interesting for those who don't want to get the vaccine. You got there was options, I guess, when it comes to a negative result or anything like that. But right now it's going to be moving forward to actually getting the vaccine. So let's hope we could move forward, because I'm super over these masks. I'm so over the conversation of like, is the mask or is the vaccine political? It's not. Can we just move on? Can we just please?
I mean, at this point, I'm just tired of the mask because they keep messing up my makeup. But, you know, that's just me.
I can't even smile at. Now where is this? Smizing. I mean, Tyra did not prepare us for that.
I can't. But we're going to move on. I know, Ruben, you have some news in regards to a festival that recently occurred and has some major drama. Tell us about that.
Ooh, where do I begin with that festival? There's a lot that goes on with this festival. It's the Asteroid Festival with that Travis Scott headline. So there were 8 people that died, and they ranged from the ages of 14 to 27, and over 300 people injured. There was a lot of things that went wrong. So with over 50,000 people were sold out, people bombarding the stages and passing the security, and people were being trampled on, not getting attention in 45-minute spans. So a lot of people there are just questioning what's going on. Why was there so much negligence and no one's being held accountable? Because you have people saying that it was Travis Scott, it's the promoters, it's the city, it is the concert goers. So a lot of people there are trying to point fingers. My personal opinion would be it's all the people that were in charge of running it. So promoters, the city, and Travis Scott. Because when you are having a concert and you have people yelling at you, trying to get your attention, that there's something going on, and you have a lot of people who've been trampled on and can't get medical help. And even when you have an ambulance coming to save people or to come help people, you have the people at the concert dancing on ambulances, so they can't even go to the people that they're trying to help. And you have someone at the festival who was injecting people with something, and I'm assuming it was some kind of opiate because a police officer had to get a Narcan injected in him to revive him. So this festival just had a lot of stuff that was going on, and a lot of things are not matching up. There's a lot of questions being asked in this investigation that's in the beginning. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to pan out, because there's so much that's going on. I've been to festivals before. I can understand when they say that you can't see that's happening, in front of you because it is kind of hard and there's a lot of noise. But I have also been in festivals where I've been elevated and you can see an issue that's going on. So for somebody to say that they can't see what's going on, it's kind of, you just question a lot of things that happened. And I just feel bad for the people that were there who either got injured, lost their family, because the youngest person who got injured was a 9-year-old and he has like a lot of brain damage. So how can you explain that to their family in terms of the negligence? So with that, it's just like, woo, a lot of stuff that happened there.
I think, well, it's definitely a sad moment. It's a sad story. I mean, 8 people have died from this. Dozens of people are injured. However, I do disagree that it's Travis Scott's fault. I think if we're going to look at where the fault lies, it's with the venue and the people who are part of orchestrating what this venue and what this concert and festival is going to be. As an artist, performing somewhere, you don't always know what the venue is. A lot of times you may have never performed there. You're not a part of the setup process. All you're being paid to do is come and perform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in that regard, I do think that there's heavy responsibility on the venue itself to make sure that they have, the best amount of room for people to be there, that they have all of, escape routes, figured out, that they have whatever they need to have, whether it be security barriers or whatnot. It's the venue's responsibility, and it's the producers of that event's responsibility to make sure that all those logistical things, all of those legal things, all of those safety things are adhered to. But it is it's a sad thing to know that people have died in this particular event because of the negligence. So I don't know, Nigel, Carlos, what do you guys think?
Well, I was just saying that there were a bunch of people even breaking into the festival and stuff like that. Like there were just way more people than they had anticipated. I think it's mostly the venue's fault. I think a little bit of the artists too, because you can even see in stories with Kylie Jenner being there and the ambulance is literally being in the background of her story. So they knew stuff was happening the whole time. And I've just been to so many festivals and concerts where the artists have actually been like, hey, I'm gonna stop, back up, let's what's going on, So I don't know.
Can I chime in something, Daniel? The reason why I say Travis Scott too, because he's been negligent in the past, where he's incited for his concert goers to rush the security and just bombard and go to the front of the stage. And these security guards are hired there for a reason. So if you cannot respect the people that are there to do their job and you're inciting that, then you are part of the problem. And there's videos where he's elevated and he sees an issue, but he's trying to get the help. He's not stopping anything or saying anything. So when you have that platform and you see what's going on, that's why I have Travis Scott as an issue on top of everybody else.
100%.
I definitely agree with this. When it comes to the venue, I did see in the beginning, there was a large bombardment of people coming into the venue, people who just jumped over the fence. So that was already kind of almost a foreshadowing of people getting crushed to get in. And then eventually when I saw Travis Scott, there was two venue people who came up on the stage and were trying to talk to him. And then they were just dismissive about it. And you could see on other videos on TikTok being stop the show, stop the show. And even Travis Scott was still not part of it. And then his pardon my French, but his pathetic apology video where he's rubbing his forehead and saying all these things of for myself, it was a pseudo apology. It was just a scripted apology. I mean, as you could see, the artist was up in the front. He could hear people yelling and you could see all these things happening. And then there's an ambulance. How do you not see an ambulance? There was a sign saying that behind this, the two colors, blue and red, flashing really loudly. How do you not see that? So I could see it from a mile away. So if Travis Scott could not see that, then it's going to be negligent. We need to get his eyes checked. We need to see what's up with the venue, and we need to get Travis Scott and all the producers and everybody in charge to making sure that those who passed away are going to get all their fees and all their costs covered, because this is an unfortunate, tragic event that happened. And COVID has taught us that people have no chill right now. They just want to get out and have fun.
Well, unfortunately, from a legal standpoint, they can't come after Travis. Now, if the venue wants to fine Travis because they found that he was a part of the mayhem, the venue can do that. But 9 times out of 10, when you have something like that, as I'm speaking from the artist's perspective, the artist is not liable in that situation.
What if this is concert? Is this a concert or a festival that he started though?
It depends on how it's structured, because a lot of times when you have a festivals as an entity, they're built as an entity. just like any other business. So if you go out and create a business and that business is an entity, they can sue the business. They don't necessarily have to sue you and take your personal finances and your personal money. You know what I'm saying? So if the festival is set up as its own entity, they can absolutely sue the festival. They can absolutely sue the venue. They can absolutely sue production. But whether or not they can come for Travis personally, I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, if he was inciting the violence and helping the mayhem and just not being a decent human being, then that's one issue. But to hold him legally responsible for these 8 deaths, I just think that's a stretch. But we're gonna move on because we have one more topic before we end our ¿Qué tal segment, and it's gonna be from Carlos. Carlos, now you got me a little excited with this piece of news when you sent it. Not because of Ariana Grande, but because of the musical that it is. So why don't you tell us what's going on with Miss Grande?
Hi, how's it going, everyone? So today I'm here to talk about what's happening with the latest news of Wicked. So as of last Thursday, it seems like there was going to be John M. Chu, which is the director of Wicked, announced via tweet that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were going to be playing Glinda and Alfalfa when it comes to on Wicked. So this is going to be such a great news. Everybody's kind of super excited about this. Wicked has been in the news when it comes to being in production for such a long time. So this is a long-awaited news for a lot of folks. So as soon as Ariana Grande was posted, or as soon as Ariana Grande knew about her news that she was going to be on Wicked as Glinda, she put on Twitter saying, "Thank goodness." So if anybody knows Wicked, that's actually a little nod at the overall musical. And then Cynthia Erivo, I mean, are you guys familiar with Cynthia already? I mean, she's an Oscar nominee. Erivo. I think
I actually am familiar with Cynthia Erivo. I fell in love with her when she did her run of The Color Purple, where she played Celie. And I was able to see her live at the Hollywood Bowl this past summer, and she was phenomenal. All of my inner theater child is screaming right now just because Wicked is an amazing musical, period. It is an amazing musical. If you've ever heard the music, if you've ever seen it, if you've ever whatever, it's incredible. And so I'm really excited to see Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. The reason why I say I'm not necessarily excited about Ariana is because I don't know if Ariana can act. And what?
She was on Nickelodeon.
I can't. I'm loving the fact that Nigel is looking at me because I'm sitting next to him, but he's not looking at this camera. He is literally like, so yes, let's have this conversation. The people want to see your face, Nigel. I don't know that she has the acting chops because Glinda in this musical is a very it's not all singing. There's a character that you kind of have to play and bring across. So I don't know if she will be able to do that. I know Cynthia can do it. I also would have been interested to see Cynthia play Glinda and Ariana play Elphaba. But again, acting, don't know if she can pull it off. What do you guys think? Are you familiar with the musical? And if you are you excited about this matchup?
I saw it once 12 years ago at the Pantages Theater, and I remember enjoying it.
Come on, Pantages! Come on, Pantages! That's it. That's all you got. You don't got nothing for Ariana. You don't got nothing for Cynthia. He said, all I remember was 12 years ago when I was just a babe in my mother's bosom.
I remember just really not wanting to go because I'm like, who wants to go to a play? And I'm really enjoying it. So,
it's a movie.
I'm talking about the play. Yeah.
So you are not a musical fan. So you are not a live theater person whatsoever.
In more recent years, because some of my friends are at tours now and they've done college productions and stuff. So yes, but my
heart is just hurting right now. Oh my gosh! What about you? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I like Ariana. What's the other actress' name? Cynthia. I looked up on her when I saw that was coming out, and I'm excited to see her too. I do think Ariana can do a good job. I do think she can play campy and that kind of role perfectly for Glinda. I don't know if the roles were reversed to Alfalfa would work, but for Glinda, totally, because I've seen her on SNL and play those kind of skits. So when she's not singing, I can totally see her doing that kind of satire and whatnot on Wicked as Glinda. And with Cynthia, I saw she's a Tony Award winning, so and Celia. So it's very excited to see that. Let's just hope it doesn't go the route of cats.
Oh Lord Jesus. Okay, well, I'm very excited for this. I think that we're all excited to see what this is going to birth and how this is going to be. But we got to move on and we got to get into our main topic, because today we are discussing childhood traditions as it pertains to Latin culture and American holidays. Honey, Latin culture versus American holidays. Now, for many of us on this panel, we know that American holidays can be quite problematic because many of them service and are geared toward a very palm-colored population. However, when you are not of that palm-colored culture and you are of a different culture, some of these holidays just seem either ridiculous, disrespectful, or just plain stupid. So I want to lead into this conversation by asking the question, as we come up against, the winter holidays, traditionally known as Thanksgiving and Christmas. What was your childhood like when it came to these end of year kind of holidays? Like, what was it like in your household? And Carlos, I want to start with you.
So, one of the things for myself was when it comes to, the Latin culture, I'm the only child. So literally for myself, it was very, very, very respectfully, I will say this, boring. I would just be by myself. It would just be my parents and I, we would go to church. I think religion was a huge part of us celebrating holidays. It was more of a thankful versus kind of like the whole history and everything like that. So I didn't really focus on, Columbus. I didn't really focus on Santa. It was more of a focus on like thankfulness. It was more of a focus on giving. So, for myself, I was just able, usually during the holidays for myself, it was more just myself. I'm the only child at the table with my parents' friends right there. And then on Thursdays, I remember this, if anybody didn't grow up with cable, on Thursdays, it would be on KTLA 5. They would have the Twilight Zone, and it would just be the whole day, Thanksgiving. And so I used to watch that all the time, and now I love Black Mirror. So,
Nigel, what was the end of your holidays like for you?
I think in terms of like Thanksgiving, it was always pretty traditional, just like family get together, eat some turkey, take a nap, the whole 9 yards for the Thanksgiving fantasy. But for like Christmas, I know me and my family, Mexicans usually celebrate it on Christmas Eve, and then Americans celebrate on the day of. So one thing my family has always done is we celebrate both. So the 24th is like the extended family thing. And then the 25th, we have like a big breakfast with like the more immediate family. So I guess that's kind of like the blending of like the Chicano thing for me, where we celebrate both.
Okay, but what about you? What was your childhood experience like with these end of year holidays?
Mine is very similar to Nigel's. Coming from a Mexican household here, we celebrate on Christmas Eve with tamales and our family. What I hated though the most was going to midnight mass as a kid. For Christmas, I couldn't do without that then. I could do without it now. But the holidays, for me, I learned about the holidays in school, so I know the American history behind it. But my family, we never really did that for that reason. We just use holidays to get together as a family. So that I appreciate. I do like, getting together with them for that. But it was pretty normal in our house. So tamales, get together and eat food. We celebrate around food. Our culture surrounds around a lot of food. So carne asada, gosh, there's so much food I can't even think about it. So that was my favorite thing about it, was food and just talking to our family and just watching movies and just being ridiculous.
So being half Mexican and half Black, my mama's Mexican, my daddy's Black, but my mother is not, like, she didn't grow up in Mexico. She grew up in LA. So growing up around these types of holidays, I didn't have necessarily like a traditional cultural experience when it came to Thanksgiving or Christmas. For Thanksgiving, it was really just all about the food. It was all about, family coming together. And I have a lot of family, before my grandmother passed, she had 10 kids, 53 grandchildren, and 63 great-grandchildren. So when I say large family. So I just always remember that. I remember being around my family during Thanksgiving. My family can get down in the kitchen, so we had everything from soul food to tamales and enchiladas, and all kinds of stuff. My uncle would always want some menudo, and you can have it because I don't want it. I just can't. And it's funny because I don't like menudo from my Mexican side, and I don't like chitlins from my black side. It's just not something that I want in my belly. But God bless you for those who do. And as far as Christmas is concerned, I don't really remember, again, having a tradition style Christmas either. I do remember that Christmas Eve, it would be like me, my mom, my dad, my brother, like immediate family would come over. We would have, dinner, and I would be able to open like one gift on Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, I could open the rest of my gifts. And then just kind of growing up as an adult, when you learn about the oppression of Thanksgiving that it is, I don't even call it that anymore. I just call it Turkey Day. And as far as Christmas is concerned, I don't get excited about gifts. I don't get excited about the season. So now, to me, the season is more just about like chosen family, my friends, close friends, really expressing love. And gratefulness and thankfulness, which is something I try to do all year, but especially during the season. So, like I said, I didn't really have like any. I don't know. I didn't grow up with necessarily like traditions in my family. It was just let's get together, let's eat, let's have a good time. Now, the second question that I have for all of you is, for those of you whose parents, like if you're first or second generation Latins. What was the conversation around these holidays in your house? Like, did you grow up kind of like in the Americanized version of what these holidays are, or were there different conversations with your parents or that you were privy to regarding other holidays that were celebrated within the culture? Don't all go at once.
I mean, I'll go first. I mean, for myself, I grew up a lot when it comes to Christian Pentecostal faith. So a lot of when it comes to like the Jewish culture and Judaism and everything like that, that's exactly what I was taught. I barely learned a lot about, what is it? Something, the baby and the bread, and rosco, or what is it called? Or like around like, I think it's like New Year's or something like that. A rosca, I don't know what it's called, to be honest. I mean, I never learned about that. I never learned about like the grapes, 12 grapes for like blessings and anything like that, or like sweeping outside for like New Year's. I never learned about those traditions. I always was taught like, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. Here's why we are celebrating these kind of things. I'm kind of just like, cool. But why are my tias doing this? Why are my tios doing this? I don't get this, And they'll be like, don't worry about it. This is what the Bible says. And I'm just like, cool.
I'm just gonna go along with the get along because that's what they told me to do.
Yeah, so that was my experience. So whenever I hear everybody else's experience of like, I was with my tios, with my tias, with my primos, I'm just like, I was with my mom's friends.
What about you, Ruben and Nigel? Did you guys have like did you have conversations with your parents about like the holidays and what they meant for you versus what they grew up doing?
Yeah, as an adult. But as a kid, what I learned in school, I would reiterate to my mom, be like, oh, this is what I learned in school when the holidays came up. Oh, that's what happened. But we didn't really get into a deep conversation. I mean, as a kid growing up. But now as an adult, I talked to her about it, and I'm just a little bit bitter behind the history behind it. But I do like to have a conversation with my mom and my family about, being thankful just in general, to utilize it and use it as an opportunity to kind of use it to our way of having a conversation about it and how the school system failed in terms of proper education, coming from being Mexican and, being thankful that I'm here in a country that I'm born in, so it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, a conversation didn't really happen as a kid, just most of, what happened, what I learned. All these conversations come up as a kid, as a grown up now, which I do actually appreciate because it does give us a way to understand each other more and actually get closer too, because having these conversations with them, they're not fighting me, they agree. So it's nice to see that we're all on common ground. It's just that the conversation that was never had. So it's nice.
What about you, Nigel?
Well, my parents are a bit younger, and they went to school in the U.S. and stuff, so they understand like the context of those holidays and stuff. But it's never been like a celebration of like America or anything. It's just been like a family togetherness thing. Although my mom did have this weird thing where she wanted us to become really Catholic again and tried forcing us to go to midnight mass for years and years and years, and I never went. So. And then she gave up after a while, so because I kept fighting her about it.
Like, lucky you.
We was like, damn, we could have been there together. Miserable.
How are those did you get presents?
Let me ask you guys this. Being what we all, we go through our journeys, we're adults now. Obviously, we have learned a lot more than what we knew when we were kids as it pertains to some of these holidays that we celebrate. But if you could create your own traditions around this season, not necessarily around the holidays themselves, but just around the season, what sort of traditions do you think that you would create with your own family? And Nigel, I want to start with you.
Oh, my own family, like for Thanksgiving and Christmas, or both? Or...
For like just this whole season, like for the holiday, the end of your holiday season, like Turkey Day, Santa Day, either one. Like, what are some traditions that you would create if you didn't stay with the traditional holiday season? I don't know what word to use. Culture? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, something that I've started doing recently now that I'm an adult, technically.
You're an adult. You got bills. You pay rent. You're an adult.
But me and my friends, like, we focus on like chosen families. So we always do Friendsgiving, which is separate from Thanksgiving. So we always get together. We do potluck, not even necessarily like turkey and stuff, but we all just like make something and bring something.
Can y'all cook? That's the question. That's what everybody want to know. Can you and your friends cook?
I can cook a little thing too.
Well, I saw this. I saw this. What does that mean?
I was like, I can good enchiladas. So I'm like, that's my like potluck dish. Everybody always likes it. So.
He ain't never made that for us. We all work together. He ain't never brought in the pan of enchiladas. Whatever. We had a whole movie night in conference room deep. Oh my God, I feel hurt. He ain't brought us nothing. Carlos, what about you? What are some traditions that you would create for you and your family?
Yeah, so for myself, I've been living by myself for over 2 years, and one of the things that I always get is really, really cold. I noticed that around the cold weather, I like to bake cookies, and then once you bake cookies, the house gets warm. Smells good, but the thing is, I don't eat all the cookies, especially when it's like I can't be eating all these cookies. So
what you're saying is you're gonna be bringing us cookies.
Well, hold up, let me finish. One of the things
you worry about them enchiladas, okay? You worry about them enchiladas. You worried about somebody's cookies.
One of the things that I like to do is I like to buy boxes. I did this maybe like 2 years and a half ago when I started getting really, really cold, and I was either gonna buy a heater, buy a blanket that's heated blanket or anything, or bake cookies. So I started buying boxes, and I started buying like cookie dough, and I just started like adding like my little like fun things to it, like maybe like trail mix or like M&Ms to it or whatever, and I would just give it away. And like it was my way of saying like thank you, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Mele Kalikimaka, anything like that. It was my way of saying like thank you just for being in my life. I thought about you, and here's some cookies, and also that it made my house warm, so thank you. So, if I could introduce a new tradition to my family, if I could just introduce a new tradition to my kids in the future, I would really want them to just be like, giving away is really warm, and it can make the house warm, it can make you feel warm, and it can make the place feel warm also. So I think that would be a really fun tradition if I could just continue. I mean, COVID didn't let me do it last year because no one would accept my cookies. Everybody was like, I don't want Rona, and I'm just like, I swear I'm negative. But this year, I really want to continue with that tradition. For anybody who's open, if y'all want some cookies, let me know. Comment below, subscribe. I think that would be my thing. That would be my thing for sure. Would be giving away some cookies. Or maybe muffins. Who knows? Maybe that could be my next thing.
Carlos, are you from 1950? Because I swear, I am dying over here about these baked cookies, these baked muffins. You done boxed them up. You done gave them up. I said, what in the hell? What in gay God is going on over here? I love it. So I expect a box of cookies and a plate of enchiladas thus far. Ruben? Ruben, what kind of traditions you bring in?
Tradition, well, I would like to bring, 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 I would like I was like, my tradition, I would like to, because I like to be around my friends and family. And, you know, I believe it's a celebration of the people that you have in your life, and you're in their life for a reason too. And it's just to celebrate that. I'm with, you know, I celebrate mostly with my mom's side of the family. And whenever we have my friends, you know, who's LGBT, which is primarily a lot of them, they either don't go to their families. You know, she would always be, or my family would be welcoming to have them come over, because, you know, people really shouldn't be alone on holidays. I know sometimes people feel that way. So I do like to, we have a tradition of just incorporating my friends and family and just celebrating each other and while we're in each other's life. And, you know, the best thing is to celebrate with food, because I don't have anyone in my life who doesn't enjoy food, you know? So food and cookies. And although I do know how to cook and bake well, I do not like to do it.
And now he just gonna hold out. I do it well. I just don't like to do it. It's about nothing.
I live by myself, so you know, I have to, but it doesn't mean I like to.
Well, we are short on time for this particular segment. When we come back, I will share with you what I would like to create for traditions in my family. But we got to pay the bills, y'all, and we got to let you know about how you can know your HIV status. So we'll be right back with our second segment of Latin culture versus American holidays right here on the Link LatinX.
Are you in need of a quick and easy way to know your HIV status? Swab and Chill is a discreet way to learn your status in the comfort of your own home. The process gives you results in 20 minutes. Swab the upper gums, swab the lower gums, and voila! Simply follow the colorful step-by-step instructions located inside the kit. Or call APLA and we can assist you virtually. In addition, all kits include condoms and lube for that penetrative fun. For our trans clients, we have Swab and Chill Plus, a customizable kit for trans-specific needs. And we haven't forgotten about COVID either. All kits include personal protection gear, like face masks, comfortable yet stylish. A personal touch tool for dealing with those germ-infested handles and ATM keypads. Wet wipes for those little messes that need cleaning up. Also, keep that summer body protected with Swab and Chill sunscreen. And don't forget about our fanny packs for those quick trips to the store. All this can be yours. Simply call Swab and Chill at 323-329-9713 or email us at swabandchill@apla.org. We would love for you to be part of our Swab and Chill family.
Come swab and chill with us!
Welcome back to the Link LatinX chapter. Y'all have to excuse me. So Ruben was inquiring whether or not there was a countdown before we came back from this commercial break, and he quickly found out the answer. It's no. It is not. But welcome back to the Link LatinX. We are talking about Latin culture versus American holidays. Before we left for commercial break, I asked my co-hosts what traditions would they like to bring to their families, knowing what they know about the holidays, thus far. And we left off with me. I think when it comes to Turkey Day, I don't necessarily think that there's any tradition that I would add to that for my family, like when I have kids or my husband. But I do think that education is going to be very important. for my family so that my family understands and that my kids understand what this holiday really is, like not the Disney version that we all grew up thinking it was. They will know what it's really about, where to really give thanks, where to really give honor for the people that, whose land was stolen, people who were betrayed, and things of that nature. And then what we can do is commemorate doing something better and being better human beings moving forward by breaking bread together and cooking and all that good, great stuff. In regards to Santa Day or Christmas and, all those, that holiday season, I actually did start a holiday of my own. Quite frankly, because after my grandmother passed away, I found that my family structure kind of broke down, where we didn't always get together. When my grandmother was alive, I felt like we all came together because my grandmother was like the glue that held us all together. And when she passed, things changed. And so I had a a good group of people that were my chosen family friends that became siblings, my best friend. And so me and my best friend started a tradition called Christmas in Pajamas movie night. And so what we would do every year, and I'm mad because we haven't been able to do it for the last few years because of the pandemic. But what we would do is on Christmas Day, either Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, usually Christmas Day, we would pick a movie that we would want to go see. We would get up in our pajamas and we would go to the last showing of that particular film. And it would just be a group of us. We would all show up to the theater in our pajamas with our stuffies and our onesies, whatever the case may be, snack it up and go in as a group and be the most ratchet group of individuals in the theater. Just because we could, because 9 times out of 10, it's empty. There's like nobody in there. But it became a tradition for a lot of people who, they didn't want to be around their family. They wanted something fun to do, or they just wanted to do something different. And I look forward to when we can go back to doing that, because every year it grew. Like the first year, it literally was just me and her, because I was like, okay, Christmas is over. We done ate all we needed to eat. We done went to all the houses we done needed to go and get the plates from. Like, I don't want to go to bed. I'm not sleepy. What do you want to do? And I was like, you know what? Let's go to the movies. Let's just go. I felt like little orphan Annie. Let's go to the movies. And we did. I put on some pajama pants. She put on her pajamas. She had a bonnet on. I had a cap. And we just went on in and it had fun. And so the next year we actually invited people. And it just grew and grew from there. And so I think that I want to keep that tradition going. And even when I do have children and when I do have a husband, I think that will be a wonderful tradition to kind of add and include, because it's just something fun to do. It's just something really, really fun.
Burn them in my mask.
Child, I ain't going to be in a mask. I'm not. I'm not. Now, I will say in the Black church, like they do like midnight musicals. Those are a little bit more fun just because it's mostly music. Like you go in and there's a whole lot of singing going on. I went to midnight mass with my grandmother twice.
And
never again. Never again.
Canceled.
Never again. I said it was just the most ritualistic, stoic, sterile experience of my life. And she hit me because I was falling asleep. I was literally on like just going, I was in. And I was like, it's boring. What do you want me to do? So yeah, I'm not doing the midnight. Itibus. God bless you. I'm not doing that. One of the things that I do want to discuss that I want to bring up, a little bit more serious of a topic. We all know, especially for those of us working in public health, we know that this season is not always great good times for people. There are things like seasonal depression, seasonal sadness, where people kind of go through these, bouts of really heightened emotions, usually of sadness, loneliness, and things of that nature. And I want to talk about that. And I kind of want to get your guys' views on that and ask, have any of you ever experienced seasonal sadness? Have ever of you ever gone through these holiday seasons where it was just like you were just down in the dumps, you were kind of just in a low space? And what did you do to kind of navigate that space?
Oh, anyone else? Okay.
It's on to anybody.
I can talk about it a little bit. So for me, honestly, my family can be really draining, and sometimes they bum me the hell out too. So honestly, creating space from family too during these times is really important because they try to shame you, be like, "Why aren't you spending this day with us?" Da, 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 you know, all that BS. Take some time for yourself. You know, go for a walk. Go rent a hotel room and just like not be around them for a day. You know, sometimes it's important because your family, you know, we love them, we do, but it's a lot.
Nigel, I feel like you just need to say it. Say it how you feel it. Say it how you feel it, Puddin'. Come on. Let it come up and come out. Cause you look like you have words that you want to say. Go ahead. Just say it. The hell it is. Go ahead and just get it on out there.
That's all I have to say on that. Well, for that specific angle, but you know, take some time for yourself. Check in with yourself when you're doing this times, because a lot of the times people expect you to be spending time with your family, and you know, sometimes that's not always the vibe. Sometimes your family is a little toxic. Sometimes you can't be around certain cousins, uncles, even your parents. Sometimes, so you know, check in with yourself.
What about you, Ruben?
I actually like being around my family. And I like to hear people's perspectives. You know what? I just love hearing how different people are. But for me, I'm very appreciative and grateful that I actually enjoy the time that I get with my family and getting together and spending that time. Even though, and I kind of like that banter sometimes we get. It's like it's a nice dynamic and energy where it annoys you, but you also like it because it's like that family and I enjoy it, which I have with some of my friends too. It's very friendly and very welcoming. So it doesn't make me, I don't feel sad around holidays because I am very appreciative and grateful that, you know, I'm in my family and my friends that I don't feel that way. And because I feel that way, whenever I have friends who don't necessarily might feel sad for the seasons, I always like to embrace them and let them know they're always welcome or invite them just so they can, you know, understand that it doesn't have to be lonely or it doesn't have to be sad, that there are people that care about them and love them. And my family will be just as welcoming to them. In particular, my mom's side of the family I'm talking about too. Because I enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm looking forward to all that good stuff.
Come on, Ruben Martha Stewart's Guide to a Family Fun Vacation. Come on over to my house. Come join me and be glad. I love it. Carlos, what about you? Have you ever experienced seasonal sadness or have known anyone to ever experience seasonal sadness?
Oh my God, I get major SAD, seasonal affective disorder. I am the one, as soon as the sun goes down, my mood and my energy just goes way down with it. So, I mean, for myself, yeah, I get really sad. And then for myself, I just have to make sure that, one of the things I always tell my girlfriends is like positivity and like positive, thinking is an exercise. It's a muscle that we have to flex all the time. So one of the things before what I used to work retail. So Black Friday, those were like my days of being like, you know what, fam, I'm just gonna check out. I'll see you guys the next day after, the holidays or whatever. But right now as an adult, what I do now is gonna be like more of an exercise, as mentioned before, through the cookies, through, working out as much as I can to get those endorphins going to become happy eventually. One of the things that I always try to do is I try to look at the lights, even if it's just a walk by myself. I like to see the good side of, the holidays and everything like that. So I try to see that. But yeah, I definitely have to keep in mind for myself of like, sad is really a big thing for me. So I have to really exercise the positivity. I really have to exercise the positive music. And just those affirmations, as previously mentioned before, where my current affirmation is life is beautiful and so are you. So like, why make it another way? So I think for myself, it's just don't get sad. Not a plug for Glad. I don't know if you guys remember that commercial for Glad, but yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
See, and when you have positive affirmations like that, your skin glows just like Carlos, because when I say the skin is skinning, the skin is skinning. Okay? And you definitely gave me like relapse into retail because I hated the holiday season working retail. And let me tell you, I have worked the worst retail position when it comes to holidays. I worked at Macy's and I worked in the women's shoe department. And if you worked any department store, if you worked any mall, they will tell you that Macy's women's shoes is the 7th, 9th, and 10th gate of hell. Okay? It's horrible. In regards to seasonal sadness, I have actually experienced seasonal sadness throughout my life. I can say that I have definitely done a lot of healing and growth work to be much better at handling it now. In regards to where I don't allow myself to really get down into the spiral. But the emotions do still come up. And I think for me personally, what triggers my seasonal sadness is traditionally, culturally, we're taught that this is a time to gather your family, to gather people that you love, your friends, your loved ones. And unfortunately, I just have a lot of loved ones that are no longer in my life. They're no longer here. They're no longer living. I'm single. That's a whole nother story that we were having before the show. So dealing with relationship and dating drama. But I do notice that around the holidays, my emotions do get heightened. My triggers for sadness get heightened. My triggers for loneliness get heightened. And I have to really consciously put myself in a position to be able to process those things. And one of the things that I suggest for people who are experiencing seasonal sadness or who are experiencing sadness and may not realize it's seasonal sadness, is to have a 5-minute conversation with yourself in the mirror. Be honest about what you feel. So often, and I'm so glad Nigel said this, not everybody is in the warms and fuzzies when they're around their family. You know, a lot of us hold traumas. A lot of us are seeing that cousin that did something to us when we were younger. A lot of us are seeing that uncle that we got in an argument or a fight with. A lot of us are seeing a sibling that we ain't talked to in I don't know how many months or years. And so getting together, especially when you are, you know, in a minority culture and part of the LGBTQIA community, getting around your family can be very stressful. I mean, can you imagine all of this walking into my family when all of this wasn't walking into my family 10 years ago? So, you know, Daniel, what's with these nails? What's with the head wrap? Is that lipstick you got on? And you got to go through all these things. And it's like, look, this is my life. This is what it is. I came to eat. Shut the hell up and be out of my business. Okay? But it can be very stressful. And so a lot of times you do have to take that moment for yourself. You have to remove yourself from the situation and go have an honest conversation with yourself. Express and acknowledge how you feel. Express and acknowledge, you know, why you're feeling that way. And then do something nice for yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's something that I say all the time to people. Be kind to you. If this is a season to love on people and to be giving and to be thoughtful and to be considerate, what a perfect person to start with than yourself. Be kind to you, be giving to you, be compassionate with you, be patient with you, be loving with you. Give yourself one of the biggest gifts ever. Spend your money, spend that extra bonus check on you because you deserve it. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to ask Carlos, Ruben, and Nigel, if you could give one tip to someone this holiday season, what would it be? And if you could give one hope to someone this holiday season, what would that be? And Ruben, I want to start with you.
I would say that, you know, someone that, you know, has a different perspective, you know, from a lot of people is that, you know, you're not alone, and to just to know that, yeah, you're not alone, and that, you know, there is a brighter side, but also that the holidays can be very, I understand, but the holidays can be very loving and caring when you can make it happen, just like what you said, you know, take care of yourself.
I think when it comes to myself, and one tip I could give to anybody is going to be, I always say this all the time when it comes to I'm all about self-improvement. I always read all these books. And one of the things that they always say is, you know, happiness is sometimes a muscle, and sometimes you have to exercise the muscle, and you have to really think of those affirmations. And you really have to think about, you know, the positive and half glass full. And although it could be hard, it really makes the world so much better when you think of it in a positive way, because it takes twice as much energy to make something negative than to make it positive. So I would always say, smile, make the best out of anything, and just always meditate and be thankful for everything.
My tip is to practice self-empathy. Treat yourself for making it through a tough day. That's what I always like to do. And then my hope, I guess, for the holiday season is that you find fulfillment and happiness with whomever or whatever you choose to do this holiday season.
And for my tip to everyone out there is acknowledge the truth about who you are. Sometimes the hardest thing when we are around family, when we are around, the people who knew us way back when, is to be the person that we've grown to be. A lot of us will resort back to what they knew us to be. But be strong and be confident in who you are and who you've become as a person and the evolution of your journey that you've traveled thus far. And knowing that you still have more journey to go. You will be a different person next year than you were this year, and that's okay. My hope for people out there is that you find joy in the life that you've been given. And whether that joy comes from you, whether that joy comes from your family, whether that joy comes from your relationship or your friends or your career, I hope that you can look at your life, look at your journey, and smile because you know that you are living fully in the truth and in the joy that you have. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in today for the Link LatinX. Remember, we are here once a month, every second Tuesday of the month, right here on Facebook, on YouTube, Link LatinX, APLA Health Department Center page. So make sure you're following us so that you get those notifications. If you're watching us on YouTube, click the little ringy-dingy-ding so that you get the notifications when we're live. And we're here every second Tuesday, 4:30. Same place, same time. Make sure that you are making great, wonderful decisions. Make sure that you are being safe. And just a quick shout out to all of the programs that are represented here. If you need any type of sexual health prevention, or if you need substance abuse prevention or risk reduction, you can reach out to Healthy Him, Swab and Chill. You can reach out to PartyWise, Project Impact. We have our networks program. Come on out. If you need some prep, talk to Carlos, honey, okay? Come on out. We got you covered, okay? You got it? Yes? Yes? Okay, wonderful. Outside of that, we want to wish you a great holiday season. We will see you next month with another episode of the Link LatinX. Until then, bye.